What up, what up? How you doing? Hope you guys are well. Just want to make a video, explain a few things for the new year. Sorry, somebody's texting me. You guys, we, the members, the Teamsters, are the ones that make the wheels go round in this place. We make the revenue flow in the way it does. Without us, none of that happens. So, you know, it's a thankless job. We had a little volume spike last 2 weeks ago with Peak. They weren't properly staffed, in my opinion, but we made it happen like we always do. So when they start coming up to you now, start nitpicking, just remember who makes the wheels go round in this place, and that's you. Don't make them think you're doing something wrong, because that's what they want you to do now. They're going to start nitpicking. They're going to be after everything, because now they really have nothing to do. So the shoe shine patrol is going to be out, looking for anything and everything to get you in trouble and, you know, make it seem like now all of a sudden they don't need you, because, you know, the volume's down, and that's what happens every year. But at the end of the day, you guys, the Teamsters, are the ones that make this place move, make the packages move, make the money come in. So yeah, don't let them deter you. Don't let them get your confidence down. You made it happen. There's a 9-5 list coming out. It needs to be signed by January 5th. I strongly recommend that you sign up for the 9-5 list. It doesn't mean you'll be filing 9-5 grievances. It just means you have the opportunity to stop any excessive overtime if that so happens. That's all that means. If they start keeping you out late and your name's on that list, you can file and get penalty pay and hopefully put an end to that. If you like the overtime and you're on the list, it doesn't matter. If you don't file a grievance, it doesn't really matter. It's just everybody should automatically be on the list, but that's not the way it's set up. So for now, this is what we need to do. Ken Lakin got a list. He's got a lot of names on it already, and I strongly recommend that you opt in. I'm not pushing for you to file grievances, but it don't hurt. Don't hurt none. If you're not on it, then you know you can always get on it eventually anyway. January 5th is just the deadline for the list, but you can always modify it later on throughout the year. But why not be on it? It doesn't hurt none. So it just shows them that you have the ability to correct them if they start piling it on you and you don't want to be out late. You start filing your grievances during the normal year. That's going to start January 15th. Those 9-5, the eligibility for 9-5 grievances will start January 15th. So we have a list being handed out right now, and we'll have everybody's name on there, whether you want to or not, whether you want to sign up for it or not, by January 5th. Vacation and bids will be posted shortly as well. You can start taking vacations December, the first full week after Christmas, up until October 31st of next year. That'll go in seniority order. They will do the vacations and the bids. There's a available routes. There's a sheet up in the office, and you can take a look at that. And Mandy said she was going to update that as she got the bids in to see who bid what route, and what's available still. So keep an eye out for that. It's in the office. It's hanging up. All the routes are available right now. It'll start at the top guy and it'll work down the vacation and bids at the same time, and that'll be done very shortly. If you have 3 weeks of vacation, you're allowed to break 1 week up into 1 day increments. And if you have 4 weeks of vacation, you're allowed to do that with 2 weeks. If you break those weeks up, then you're allowed to put in for them after everybody has already bid their vacation time. So they will be treated kind of like personal days then at that point. The personal days are also allowed the first full week after Christmas and through October 31st. There's something in our supplement that monitors management's ability to give us off or not. Right now, I'm kind of arguing a case. I don't know why this doesn't make any sense to me, but in the supplement, in our Philadelphia supplement, it says that management must give at least 15% of the employees off for vacations on a weekly basis. I guess that would be. That they're saying that doesn't apply to personals. In the National Master Agreement, it says that they have to give 1 day, one person per day off. That doesn't make much sense to me. I'm kind of arguing it just doesn't make sense because a lot of guys aren't getting approved for days off. I have 5 consecutive requests, slips that have been denied. This was from back before November even. Just denied. She just denies everybody, and then she just expects you to call out, and she says you only have 3 sick days, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't let you put in for personal days when you call out anymore. Now, that's past practice in the 15 years in this center that I can remember. When you called out, if you had a personal day, they put you in for it. Well, not anymore. That was always past practice. I feel like we should be able to argue that as well. But back to the subject is the supplement states that they have to get 15% of the members. So if there's 100 drivers, they need 15 guys off a week for vacations. But there's nothing in there for the personal days. Now, there is something under the request 8 language that I like to argue about. It says they need to have 10% of the drivers off. Now, they're saying that means 10% of the drivers need to be able to file for an 8-hour request, which also starts now. If you want, you can do an 8-hour request this week and moving forward. That language is also very vague. I texted Connor and I'm trying to get an answer back and to see what protection we have against management not letting us use our personal days, because there's only 200 and some working days in the year, and we have 100 drivers with 7 personal days each. So that's 700 days that need to be used. And if she only allows 1 per day, and there's 200 and some working days, there's going to be 400 days that if she stuck to that we wouldn't be able to use, because she would just deny it. She'd just give 1 a day, for the year, for every working day available, and that's only 200 minus the 700 days that the members have available. Then we would never be able to take them. She goes, I don't, she said to me, when I was talking about this, that, I don't do that, but it's not about what she decides. It's about how it should be. And I don't think that's the right way I don't think that's right. I think we're going to look into that a little more. I know I've been saying that under the Article 8, Request 8 language, it says that management must give 10% of the drivers off. I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole with that, but I'm trying to find something to keep them accountable to letting us use our personal days. Because as it stands, if she's just allowed to let 1 driver off per day, and there's only 200 and some 50 working days, minus holidays in a year, then we wouldn't be able to use the personal days that we have, because there's 100 drivers and they have 7 personal days each. So that can't be right. I'll get back to you on that. I know I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but I'm trying to figure out how that works, and that's not. I just can't believe that there's nothing in our supplement or anything that protects us from not being able to use our days. So we'll figure that out. Layoffs, they're going to start probably laying off. I don't know. I know they are. Volumes down, just like they did last year. And the way we combat that is we don't let supervisors work, period. Supervisors do not do our work, period. From today moving forward, I know it was a little iffy last month because they were using the language and supervisors working under Section 7 saying that they've exhausted all resources. That I didn't like that either, but they were saying that and they got away with some stuff. Right now, we have more than enough people, and I don't want them laying off everybody and trimming the fat to the point where there's nothing left. They don't allow people off to use their personal days because they don't have anybody, because they laid everybody off. You're over dispatched, and they want to come out and they want to give you a little hand, right? Let me do this, let me do that. Supervisors do not work, point blank, period. If it's determined that they work, if the language states that if the actual hours worked by a supervisor amounts to 2 hours or less, the aggrieved employee, which means the person whose work they took that off of, will be paid for actual hours worked by the supervisor at the rate of double time the employee's rate at the time of the incident. So if you see a guy up there loading for 20 minutes, a supervisor, or somebody comes out and runs a misload, and they take an hour to do a misload, that's supervisor's working, and if they take that off of you, then that's your money. Now there's also the grieved employee. There's a aggrieved, and then there's the person that grieves the grievance. If somebody grieves the grievance on a supervisor working, and there's no aggrieved employee, then the griever, the person that grieved it, will get the money. Now, if I ever, if it comes across where we have, this is not for a money grab, right? This is for the union members, or if you were affected by a supervisor working and you wanted the hours. That's what that language is there for. So if I find a supervisor working, and I grieve it, and there's no aggrieved employee, and there's a money penalty check handed out by the company for doing that, then that money will go into a pot and it'll go right back to the members. This is not a money grab where they like to say, like, I've heard people say that some wild stuff about how grievances are done and how they're paid. First of all, I've only been ever paid for grievances on 9-5 penalties. And if I, as a shop steward, ever go after our center management team for working, supervisors working, then that money goes into a pot, and it gets distributed amongst all the members by either way of t-shirts or a happy hour or something like that. Okay, this is not a money grab. If they come out and they want to take work off you to help you get done early, which should be allowed, you can file for that. You have to work as instructed, but then you file for that. You file for supervisors working, and you get that money. If it's less than 2 hours, you get it at double time the employee's rate of pay. If it's more than 2 hours, the supervisor double time the employee's rate. Sorry, I'm reading the contract. So if the employee, I just want to make sure I get the wording right, because I don't want to make anybody coming after me saying this is how it is. So this is what we're doing. Supervisors working. It's going to be a big one. I don't like it, because I know what they do. They did it last year. They laid off a bunch of guys, and then they came out and they did our work for us. They took away the union members' jobs, and they went out and they just did it themselves. And they'll try to say, well, you want to get that whole you want to get in thing. Well, this is one of the things, the standard that we're going to hold in this center, is that supervisors don't work, and the result of that is they're not going to lay as many people off, because if they cut the fat and people call off, which they will, employees call off, then they try to go out and they do that work. That's zero tolerance for that, because they didn't staff accordingly. And that's what we're going to make them do with this, is we're not going to let them just lay off everybody, fire whatever they're going to do at this point, and then they think they're going to come out and do our work for us. It's not going to happen. So the aggrieved employee, if the supervisor works more than 2 hours, I already went over the less than 2 hours. If the actual hours worked by the supervisor amounts to 2 hours or less, the employee will be paid for the actual hours worked by the supervisor at the rate of double time the employee's rate. So that's another thing we want to look after too. We want to make sure that if we're going to file supervisor's working grievance, it's going to be at somebody who's top rate, if there's no aggrieved employee. If the supervisor works more than 2 hours, so they go out like they did, I know they did, behind my back a little bit, and they work more than 2 hours, the aggrieved employee shall be paid 4 hours of straight time or actual time or actual hours worked at double time the employee's rate of pay at the time of the incidents. So it's a very healthy penalty, and we should be taking advantage of that, because like I said, they're going to try to do this big layoff now because the volume's down. They're going to bring guys in probably sometime soon, and they're going to trim the fat if they haven't already, and one way we can stop them from doing that is not letting them do the collective bargaining agreement work. And so that's one thing that we're going to stick to right there. No running misloads, no taking little bulk stops out, no doing pickups. I know in the past they used to cut my route, and the supervisor I heard will come out and do my pickups in a box truck. Ain't happening. So fair warning right now. I know they got away with a little bit over peak right now. They didn't exhaust shit. So if they want to lay everybody off and go down that route, then that's what we'll do. So that's about it. I know I went over a lot. Hopefully I wasn't too back and forth. I tried to keep it simple. Hopefully we get this personal day thing worked out. I can't imagine that she's only allowed to give one person off. It just blows my mind, because the math is it's simple. If she wanted to do that, which I feel like she does, she gives people she wants to give off, and then there's just a whole nother section of people that just like myself, that I don't think I was approved all year long for a personal day. And she just, well, we only need to give one guy off a day. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know. Maybe that's the way it is. How are you supposed to use your days then at that point? So I have the bat signal out to Connor, and hopefully he gets back to me soon and lets me know, and then I'll relay that back to you guys, maybe on a little video. But I gotta go. Trying to get done. Gotta get in. Just kidding. See you guys later.